All right, guys, welcome into another mock draft here. This time looking at the New York Giants, who had such a breakthrough season this past year, expected to re-sign Saquon Barkley. The strategy with Daniel Jones really seems like franchise tag him, make him prove it again, and this time give Daniel Jones some actual weapons when it comes to this mock draft and what I want to see the Giants do in their actual draft. We're looking for a tight end, we're looking for a number one wide receiver, and we're really seeing if Daniel Jones, under the franchise tag, can take the next steps. There's been rumors that Daniel Jones might get $30 million or so. It seems like a lot, but you have to understand with these quarterback contracts, we've got multiple QBs expecting to get $45, $50 million. Daniel Jones would be kind of middle of the pack. And if I was the Giants and I did want to go long-term with Daniel Jones, it would be a Derek Carr type situation or one of those contracts where you've got multiple team opt-outs. Maybe you do a 5-year extension with a team opt-out after 2 years if you did want to give Daniel Jones a long-term contract. But let's actually get Daniel Jones and this Giants offense some help. They've got pick number 25. If I'm the Giants, I'm thinking, do I maybe try and move up for a Jordan Addison, for a Jackson Smith-Njigba? That would be very intriguing to me. You also could stay at 25, possibly even trade down a little bit, get a really good tight end like Dalton Kincaid, and then another receiver. So let's get right into it, and we will. So when it comes to this, I'm not going to trade up just because I want to keep 57, 89, and 128. The only way I would trade up is if I saw one of the top receivers really dropping into the mid-20s, and both of them get picked. So just my luck, they both get picked. And you can see Jordan Addison goes to the Minnesota Vikings at 23. JSN goes to the Chargers at 21. I actually think JSN will go a lot earlier. How about Zay Flowers going at 16 and then Quentin Johnson going at number 11? So at this point, Michael Mayer available, very intriguing, but I actually do like Dalton Kincaid a little bit better. I view him as kind of a George Kittle type tight end. So actually, to me, the strategy is maybe even trading down a little bit, trying to acquire another really good pick. Maybe I can get 65. I'm fine with trading down. They don't want to do it. If I throw in 162, we'll see. They still don't want to do it. What if I throw in? Well, we want to make it realistic. I mean, they just have no receivers. That's a problem. They have no receivers. They have no tight ends. They need a center. They need a linebacker. Could we? I don't want to trade back to 43. I mean, I'd like to get a really good receiver and a really good tight end, so I would like to make this trade with Houston. Maybe we'll just take 73 and we get it to go through. So hopefully one of the top tight ends or receivers are still available. And you can see it comes down to Musgrave versus Kincaid. I will take Kincaid. And then I'm also very intrigued in trading up for Josh Downs, who I love. He might be a first-round pick. We'll see. But he's kind of like the last remaining. Well, Nathaniel Dell is there as well. So it's really, to me, at this point, I'm looking at getting Kincaid, trading back up for either Josh Downs or Nathaniel Dell. We'll see how this works out. I'm going to do a quick trade up, though, and we can trade right back up and probably draft Josh Downs. So I'll give them 57, and I will give them 89. We'll see if they do this. I want to keep 73. They're not going to do that. What about if we give you a 4th rounder in 2024 as a sweetener? There we go. And we are going to invest heavily in getting Daniel Jones some help. It comes down to Josh Downs versus Nathaniel Dell. And I will go ahead and take Josh Downs here. So we get a number 1 tight end. We get a really good receiver. You might even need more receivers at this point. But they also do need some interior help and also a linebacker. So you've got Overshown here. This might be a position where we trade down. Cedric Tillman is someone that I really like. Stevenson I really like as well. But it's almost like, do you really draft another receiver? They kind of need another receiver. And Tillman is a bigger type. I think he's 6'3". Stevenson is a huge cornerback. I would say just go best player available. Overshown is a linebacker. They do need. We'll go team need. We'll draft for team need. We'll make it realistic, and then at 128, we'll try and get a center or a guard. The Ohio State center went off the board. That's annoying. And then the Wisconsin, yeah. So there's really okay. I'll take the center from Michigan. That's fine. This Van Pratt, I believe he's going back to Georgia, so I don't know why he's on there. But the center from Michigan actually was voted the nation's top offensive lineman, so that would be a really good get for a team that needs center help. Deuce Vaughn is someone I really like. We've pretty much gotten all their needs, so I'm just going to go best player available. And I really liked, well, honestly, let's remember their roster situation. They've got Wan'Dale Robinson, and they invested a pretty high pick into him. So we'll take another, well, this linebacker from Alabama has significant coverage problems. He's not a modern-day linebacker. You know, he's not a hybrid type linebacker. That's the problem. Josh Wiley, is there any tight ends? I mean, I like Deuce Vaughn, but I don't think he really fits. We'll take a tackle from Baylor here. And then I'm actually going to consolidate all these picks and trade up because I don't want all these picks. So we'll just trade up to 181. We'll give them all of these. See if they do that. And they do. So Kenny McIntosh, you know, we would think they don't need a running back with Saquon very likely returning. Maybe get them another tight end from Miami, an edge rusher. Yeah, this is probably best player available. I would draft Mallory from Miami, but the problem is we just got them a tight end. I don't want two rookie tight ends on the roster, so we will take an edge defender from LSU, Gay, I think, and just finish the mock draft right there. But it's so important, in my opinion, that the Giants really do address the Daniel Jones situation by franchise tagging him and actually giving him some legitimate weapons for, you know, him to possibly show that he's a franchise quarterback, because really he was dealing with nothing. You can take a look at these overall picks. We get them a legit tight end. We get them a legit receiver. I was actually tempted to take Cedric Tillman, another receiver, just because of their current roster. They really have no receivers. Maybe they'll get one in free agency. Maybe they'll trade a late round pick for one. I would be intrigued if I was the Giants, possibly trading a third round pick for DeAndre Hopkins, but it's also important to understand DeAndre Hopkins has a very bad contract situation. He's due a lot of money, and if you're franchise tagging Daniel Jones, if you're giving Saquon Barkley a big deal, that could really hamper your cap situation. But you do have a lot of defenders on rookie deals. You're also going to have to pay a few of your offensive linemen pretty soon as well. So, you know, this draft overall, I could see the Giants. Honestly, I think what the Giants could do, take Josh Downs, trade for DeAndre Hopkins, and then draft a young tight end. That's probably your best situation. You know, you also need interior lineman help. You need linebacker help. And I'm actually going to go back in really quickly and just do another version of this. I just want to see how a mock draft trading for DeAndre Hopkins would look like. Again, you have to understand, DeAndre Hopkins does not have a good contract. I really have no clue what Arizona's going to do. I wonder what they value DeAndre Hopkins at. Let's give him not 128, 89. 89 for DeAndre Hopkins. Can I get something back? Oh my goodness. So they really don't value DeAndre Hopkins. All right, we're going to speed run this mock draft with also honestly, I think the Giants should go ahead and trade for DeAndre Hopkins, legitimately. Like, to me, that's their best case. Oh, you can get Jordan Addison paired with DeAndre Hopkins and then trade up for Dalton Kincaid. Yeah, this is a much better situation for them. Watch this. We'll go ahead and we'll trade up to 34. I'll give you 57. I'll give you a third rounder. I'll give you 162 as a sweetener. Luke Musgrave is there. Yeah, guys, this is exactly what you want to do. And then you take the Michigan center with 128, as long as he's available. This is so amazing for the Giants right now if they were able to pull something like this off. But I don't think I think it's underselling DeAndre Hopkins' value. DeAndre Hopkins is probably valued a little bit more than this. The Michigan center, they need a center apparently. That's a big need for them. And then we'll just go ahead and pick the rest of these players. Yasir Abdullah is someone I really like. Xavier Hutchinson is someone I really like as well. Ivan Pace Jr., they do need a linebacker. He's really undersized, but he is a player. He's a really good player. He performed, he was one of the best linebackers in college football, but again, he's really undersized. We'll just go ahead and make all these picks because I traded all of them. We'll get them another linebacker, best player available, team need. And then we've got 3 really late picks here. We get them another linebacker. You know what? We'll go with Brenton Strange, another little athletic tight end. We will go with, I think there's a safety that I do like, A.J. Finley. We'll go with A.J. Finley. He's kind of someone I always draft towards the end. And then we'll draft a fullback, maybe a really good fullback, the next Pat Ricard there at the end. So this actually might be an even better strategy for the Giants if they pulled this off, to where your offense now, it's Daniel Jones, it's Saquon Barkley. Your number 1 receiver, your taller receiver is DeAndre Hopkins, who I think probably has 2 or 3 elite years left, or at least semi-elite. Your number 2 receiver is Jordan Addison, who's going to be an absolute stud. Your number 1 tight end is basically George Kittle 2.0, Dalton Kincaid. You still get an elite linebacker. Well, I wouldn't call this an elite linebacker, but it's a good value pick, and you get a really good center who was voted as the best overall offensive lineman in college football last year from Michigan. So, yeah, this is very interesting. I think if there's a team that's going to trade for DeAndre Hopkins, it would be the Giants. Of course, the salary cap situation, if they do re-sign Saquon, if they do, give Daniel Jones the franchise tag, it's going to be over $30 million or something like that. So, it's cutting it close, but they can really utilize it. DeAndre Hopkins, it's not a horrible contract. He only has 2 years left on the deal, so it's not like you're tethered in. And this might actually be their best case scenario. Draft Jordan Addison, draft a young tight end, trade up for the young tight end because it's so loaded. The tight end position is so loaded. And then also, trade for DeAndre Hopkins, and you completely remake your room. And now you can use Wan'Dale Robinson as a scat back, similar to the way Austin Eckler gets used, except don't give him the ball because you've got Saquon Barkley. So there's really a lot they could do with this offense, and it would be interesting. And you would just cut Kenny Golladay at this point. He's just not good, let alone his contract. But guys, that's going to do it for this video.